Hello, hello. Right, back to some more Unity. Hope everyone's having a good day. What we're going to look at today is, well, I figured it's time to start wrapping up development on this and giving me some time to start on something new. So there's a few more bits left of converting the old character controller into a more modular state. That's what we've been trying to do with these scriptable objects. So we'll be looking into that. Let me just check that things are set up properly. Kind of want to have... Well, what we can do, we can jump over to this first. And then I can still continue making edits. So I think we want a message to say what we're working on. So is that big enough? That's absolutely tiny. What font size is going to be good here? 160? That might be enough. Yeah, that looks okay. Maybe drop down the font a little bit there. Slightly too big. 140 maybe. That'll do. Okay. So we'll leave that there. I think, does focus mode override that? It does. Okay, what if we split it out? So we set this bit just to say working on. And this one's just the character controller. We'll get this set up in a second. There we go. This can go smaller. Let's say 120. Yep, that looks okay. And then we're going to set our countdown timer to, what is it, it's meant to be 20 minutes for Pomodoro technique, isn't it? So that should do. Cool. Right, I think we're kind of set up here. Just want to do a quick test of the bots. Just check they're there. There's the Twitch one on YouTube. YouTube's always a little bit slower. There we go. Okay, right. So where we got to last time, I believe we have our selected character scriptable objects. So the character controller is a scriptable object. These two scripts, and then on the player, there's a player controller script. If we look at the player controller script, I believe it looks down for the character controller. Yeah. So what we should have here on our queen character is some standard controls. So just left, right, and jump. But the difference between what we had before is that we now have these setups for our modifiers. So if we want to change here, nice and easy, we can change the jump power straight away. We'll make it a lot weaker so you can't jump as high. But that's all controllable within these stats. So character scriptable objects. So that's this format here, which at the moment is just giving us these 4 inputs, 5 inputs, movement speed and then jump settings. Does it come out like that? Yes, it does. Okay. So we can stop that for the moment. That all working as intended. Let's get rid of these, not necessary. So we've got the slam and the grab and release that we want to add in. And the other things we want to look at is there will be this character stats. So we're setting our modified stats as combinations of character stats. So I think rather than what we've got set up here, which is just like, there's an empty list there for whatever you want to use to apply stat modifiers. So this scriptable object list, or I guess array. Yeah, it's probably more of an array. Is then looped through to find to set the movement speed and to set the jump power. And these 3 are just passed through at the moment. And they are set here, right, okay. So what I'm thinking here is on our character selected script, based on which ones are selected here, it should pick out modifiers from a list of all modifiers of all the different suits and values. Which I believe we can do. So like hearts modifier should be called character name hearts, right? And we'll do our king modifier as character name king. And then we can look at this character name field and see if it matches the value that's selected here. And if it does, use the modifiers, or if not, go on to the next one. So let's start duplicating here. So one for each suit. Would be, so clubs. Spades. And diamonds. Right, and again, we've got to rename the character name, so clubs, diamonds, and spades. Right, and then our character prefab, next selected character, yep. We add in all of these into our modifiers. So let's remove the king for the moment. Let's do, actually let's call these card modifiers, rename that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do suit modifiers and card value modifiers. Now it's going to complain because that's wrong, but that's fine. It's not going to rebuild, do it? So I guess actually we can have stat modifiers, but it's going to be a private. So at the moment it'll be empty, that's fine. So what I want is on initialize here, we're going to say the stat modifiers are going to be selected based on out of the suit modifiers where the name matches the selector and equivalent for the value. So I'll give that a second. So now we've got these suit modifiers. Clubs, diamonds, hearts and spades. And I guess we've only got king and queen here, so let's just do those two. Right, so now on our selected character, we've got these. Yeah, that's correct. I don't think we need the character selector script at all now, but we'll double check it. because I think we can just bump those. Yeah, we should be able to dump those out in the character stats. Right, 1 second. Right, so I wonder if we can populate this drop down with code. So let's get our research window open. Populate drop down Unity from scriptable objects. I assume there's a way to do this. Seems like a weird post. Like all of this here is all of the code. He's got a copyright license on the top of it. I'm not sure that's how that works. So let's have a look at suits first. Let's see if we can replicate something like this. Do like public list of strings. Oh, not particle systems. No, that's not how we do it. I'm sure when we were looking at scriptable objects enums, something was coming up similar to this. Enum example. Yeah, this was quite a good one, I think. And let's have a quick look at Sam Yam's one. Maybe Matt Mirrorfish. Right, are we capturing this audio? Let's just double check. Research window. Let's pause the Spotify.
The same scene that we have seen previously, but now instead of enum, I have created in the data folder a weapon data SO scriptable object by extending the scriptable object class. And I have added create asset menu to be able to create it through the create a new asset inside the Unity inspector. Now what we can store here is a, for example, public in the damage string weapon name as well as the game object weapon prefab. Now if I go to Unity, we can select the data folder and I have defined bow weapon data, and as you can see I have assigned to this a bow weapon prefab. I can also right click create a data and weapon data, and I can create, for example, axe weapon data, and I can give it some damage value weapon name axe, and I can select my prefab axe weapon prefab. Now, the weapons, so the pickable objects in our game, contains the same weapon script, but now, instead of having an enum, it has a private field of type weapon data SO. So we can assign this weapon data SO object to our weapon, and onTriggerEnter now sends to our equip weapon method the weapon data SO object. And if I go to our equip weapon definition, now it gets this weapon data SO, and from this, it gets its prefab for our weapon, as well as in our weapon manager. Now we can save the reference to our weapon data SO, so we have access to all the data about the weapon, because as I have shown you, we can add additional fields here, like public in damage or anything else. Anyways, the main problem in our project was that we couldn't easily add a new weapon to our game without having to go into the code and modify the existing logic. Right now, we can duplicate the pickable weapon object. I can delete the bow, and I can now select my weapon axe, just like we did before. But now if I select the weapon script on it, all I need to do is select the weapon data and swap it for my axe weapon data that I have created just a while ago. And now if I press play, I will be able to pick all of those weapons up without any trouble. Right now, our character animated object, our weapon manager script, doesn't contain any weapon data so we have no problem with this, where we had this enum set to be stored by default. Now if I go to my bow, I will have this bow weapon data in my weapon manager, as well as my character now carries a bow. And if I go to my axe, now as you can see we have the axe, as well as in the weapon manager, we have equipped weapon axe weapon data. So again, we have access to all its data that is defined in the scriptable object. So this way, we have used scriptable object and a bit of object-oriented design. So instead of using this enum, we can save the weapon data SO reference, which is serializable, to my save file if I want to save or reload the state of my game. And to add more weapons, I can simply create a new weapon data object and define its properties, and it will all work with my current system, because every weapon data SO has the same parameters. So I will need to define the same parameters that are currently used by my logic. And of course, I can go to weapon data and add public int health or whatever we want to have here to define our weapon data, and we can simply access this through our weapon manager. Okay, so to summarize, in case you are starting to see that
I'm sure that there was something, I think maybe in the
when the scene reloads, unless you program
in the Unity
so there are
talk here
data you may need, such as the health, enemy attack, etc. However, there is another use for them. And if you're interested in learning more about scriptable objects, I recommend my previous video before watching this one, which explains scriptable objects, what they are, and how to use them and their benefits. But there's also another use case for scriptable objects, and that's called event-based messaging. And it's where the scriptable object kind of acts as a middleman between two different scripts or components. So we can decouple the code, which basically means to separate or to remove dependency onto components. And when you remove dependency, it makes your life easier, makes it easier to test, more flexible, and easier to debug. But it is a great way to architect your game to be flexible and easy to change for both the coders and designers. And what I'm going to show you is based on a Unite Austin 2017 talk, which is actually pretty well known. It's called Game Architecture with Scriptable Objects, and it's given by Ryan Hippel, a principal engineer at Shell Games. So I definitely recommend checking out this video because they go more in depth into scriptable objects and how to architect architect your entire project to use scriptable objects. And on the topic of game design, this video is sponsored by Mental Checkpoint. If you haven't heard of Mental Checkpoint, they're an amazing YouTuber who actually made the game Move or Die, which is an awesome game on Steam if you haven't played it already. And their channel is full of super useful and secret tips on game designs that I have not heard in many of the other videos that I watch. And this is largely due to their experience in the field. The editing and pacing of the videos are also amazing, so if you're interested in learning about game design, I definitely recommend you check out Mental Checkpoint. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to use scriptable objects
Might just have a quick look at that as well.
for event-based messaging. Now, what does that entail? So first, let's see how we would usually manage our player health. So let's say we have a player controller, which you can ignore all of this, but the important thing is, let's say we have a health here of 100, and then on awake we set the health to the max health, and then we have a function here called decrease health, which decreases the health, and you'll see that we have a reference to the slider here, which the slider is just a UI slider on the scene, and we set the value of the slider whenever we decrease the health. So you'll see that right here we need a reference to the slider, and of course we need to import the Unity Engine UI namespace to use this slider. So what happens here is that when the player enters this red box, it loses health, and when the player enters this green box, the level reloads. So if we enter this red box, you'll see that the health decreases by 10, which is just a simple script here, health decrease trigger, that we attach to this box, and we have this onTriggerEnter function. If the other tag is called player, then we get a reference to the player controller and we decrease the health. Seems simple enough, right? And make sure
We're going to skip forward a little bit of this because we have watched this before.
This is just a simple example. What happens if the player starts depending on a bunch of other stuff on the audio? What if the player depends on the enemies and need to pass the value over to the new scene? And I'm actually going to explain this in the following example. And now the player doesn't need to worry about the slider. So what's common practice is to make a singleton of, and it'll return and depend on the player.
Yeah, we're not looking at
So
singletons.
we want to keep the health the same throughout the different scenes, like most games do. Now first, let's tackle the issue of having the data persist along different scenes. So usually if you follow this line of thinking and not use scriptable objects, there's some ways to do that. First, you can use player press to save your value. Is to use don't destroy on load. So in this the scene is reloaded, called change slider value, and that's what we call here from the can access this persist over multiple scenes apart from player press, and it's using additives. Go over the implementation for that, but just know that that's a possibility, but the issue still remains whenever our player enters the red box. So let's go over that implementation. It's pretty simple. We have this health manager scriptable object here. It extends scriptable object. So all we have here is an integer for our health, which is our data, and then we have max health, which is the maximum amount of health our player can have. So in the onEnable of this script, which is called also when this scriptable object is loaded, in this case when we press play and the level is loaded, this is called, we set the health equal to max health. So kind of like when the game starts, we just set it to the max health. And then what we're doing here is that we have an event, a Unity event called health change event, and here we're just instantiating that event if it equals null. And so what we're going to do here is when we decrease the health of our player, we decrease the health as usual, but now we invoke or we just call this event and we pass in the health. So to make that easier to understand, we have our trigger here. So when the player enters our onTriggerEnter, we call the health manager, which in this case is just our scriptable object. So we just have a reference to our scriptable object here, and we call decrease health. And so this will call this function, and then any script that has subscribed to this event will get notified of this new health value. And Unity events are super powerful. I definitely recommend using event-based programming. That's what the input system uses actually. And side note, the input system actually uses scriptable objects for most of its stuff, such as the assets, the input actions, which I thought was pretty interesting. Besides the point, here we invoke slider to the new amount, and on disable we unsubscribe from the command, and not only of having a bunch of scripts everywhere reference each other, all we need to do is drag our scriptable object, which you can right click create scriptable object health manager. You can call it whatever you want. You can just drag in your health manager scriptable object into your field, and when you press play and you reload the scene, you'll see that the value still stays the same because it's still reading it from this scriptable object. You see that now. To mention are the differences between using a scriptable object and a mono behavior. Since a mono behavior is in the scene, fetch that dependency itself, it just waits. We'll have to look into the code for notifications by clicking the bell icon. And thank you once again to the
Yeah, we're coming back to that. There could be some interesting stuff there. Save that for later.
Component, and here we have an array, in this case of size 1, of vulnerable damage types, right? What damage types is he going to take extra damage from? And in this case, it's just fire. The cool thing about this is we have multiple damage types, and of course we could also add an invulnerable damage type if we wanted, or a reflect damage type, or whatever, right? So we can do multiple things with those. But so if we go into play mode, what we'll see is that I have my fire damage type equipped, and if I shoot my snake, he's going to die in one hit. If I go and I shoot my lizard, he's going to take 2 hits to kill. Also, you'll notice that as I shoot things, we've got this little particle effect that spawns where we shot. We've got a kind of a purple laser, and then a particle that spawns where we hit. Now, the reason that this works is because our snake is vulnerable to fire and our lizard is vulnerable to poison, which is our other damage type. The particles are actually assigned in the object, and there's a small method in there, which is what is spawned in the class calling its damage function. What I code where we're doing the right, we have our vector3 argument spawn to reuse the fire particles for now, and just put that into my gun. And let's make the zombie here be vulnerable to ice. And now when we go in, we'll see that our snake, we've added it there, but now anywhere where we want to use that, we're going to have to go in and kind of hard code in using scriptable objects to create a damage type that is an asset that lives in our Unity project, right? So here we're adding.
Right, I'm sure when we looked at this before, we were having a look here. Where was our Unity?
Hello. Firstly, I just want to say how impressed I am that how many of you chose to come to a programming talk at 5:30 p.m. on a nice sunny day. I must be awesome. That's great. So, overthrowing the monobehavior tyranny in a glorious scriptable object revolution. What am I going to talk about exactly? So firstly, I'm going to talk about why monobehavior sucks.
But enums the scriptable objects.
Why it is horrible. Why it causes us endless pain day in, day out. I'm going to talk about what scriptable
Although let's have a quick look here.
useless. But there's a couple of important things you can do with an empty scriptable object. You can check if it's equal to another empty scriptable object, or you can check if it's not equal, or you can check if it's null. And it turns out that that's the same set of things you want to do with an enum. So it's like having an enum where you're going to sort of check, is it this value, is it this value, is it this value? Except that instead of it being hard-coded, it's something that can actually be created by designers directly inside the project. So examples of these, again, might include inventory items, or AI event categories, or damage types, also lock and key setups. So to pick the inventory item example, maybe I have a bunch of scriptable objects that don't really represent, well, they represent objects but don't have any actual data associated with them. But it gives me the ability in code to say, if the player's inventory contains this scriptable object, then let them through, otherwise don't. So look at an example for that. Oh, yes, another point. It's also very easy, given the empty scriptable object, to then begin adding variables to it if you discover you need them, at which point it's very similar to data table setup. And it's supports null, as I said. So let's look at a little example. So this is from a game I worked on a while ago. Given something like different types of ammunition, I might have a very simple ammo type scriptable object. Doesn't really do anything particular. I just want to kind of keep track of, I got this much 9mm and this much RPG rounds or something like that. From the game's point of view, it doesn't really need to know anything about these. It's just different numbers to keep track of. It allows me to start with my basic class and then write code like this. So given an inventory, which is like a dictionary of this ammo type to numbers or something like that, I can just plug in the ammo type instance and look it up by that. So it ends up looking very, very similar to using an enum, except that suddenly I've given my designers the ability to create 50,000 different types of ammunition in the game if they so desire. It's maybe less relevant for an individual game, but certainly for like an asset store author, creating some kind of assets can be used in lots of games. It's quite handy. And then, yeah, so just using like that. So, pattern 3, dual serialization. So as I said, one of the nice advantages to using scriptable object is that it is fully compatible with Unity's serialization system. So you create one of these things, you can throw it in the project, look at the inspector, include it in builds and so on. Unity will just, but then you ship a level editor.
Okay, well, we've got it down as 24,
an architecture whereby you don't have to care.
45.
We have a couple of variables in there, going to be serialized, and we have a static game state instance variable that's private. We use a public instance property to kind of wrap around that. And we just say in the property, if we don't have that reference right now, firstly, we'll try and find it. We'll try and find it from the thing that was left from before the main reload. If we still don't have it, go create it. At which point we definitely have it, so return it. And we're done. So this is a very nice little pattern. And you can wrap this sort of thing up into a base class as well that you then just derive from. It can be a little awkward with the static variable sometimes, but there's ways of kind of helping set that. Oh yes, one more pattern as well. Delegate objects. If you've ever done any native OS X or iOS work, this is probably going to be quite a familiar pattern. But this idea of having a scriptable object that has methods, because they don't just have to contain data, they're arbitrary class, they can have whatever methods they like. The model behavior passes itself to the scriptable object methods, and the scriptable object does some work. Possibly using the model behavior if it needs to, ignoring if it doesn't. And this allows for an awful lot of kind of pluggable, configurable behavior. And we'll look at an example of this shortly. But some examples include like different sort of pluggable AI types, or maybe like power-up buffs and debuffs. So instead of having to make like a completely separate prefab for every individual sort of pickup that the player could get, you could have one sort of generic one that has a scriptable object that's actually going to do the work of buffing the player. And so on. So a little example of what that can look like. So given like a power-up effect scriptable object, which is an abstract class, so we're going to use this as a base class for the individual actual effects of different power-ups. And all it has is this one method that lets you apply this power-up effect to one particular object, one particular player or something like that. And then we have an example of one of the power-up effects. So like a health booster effect. We can configure the amount of health.
Maybe I've got the timestamp wrong on that.
And by doing it this way, this actually lets us create then like 10 different health power-ups of different strengths. So we can make like a mini health power-up. Doesn't really do anything particular, I just want to make RPG rounds or something like that. From the game's point of view, it doesn't really need to know anything about these, it's just different numbers to keep track of. It allows me to start with my basic class, and then write code like this. So given an inventory, which is like a dictionary of this ammo type to numbers, or something like that, I can just plug in the ammo type instance and look it up by that. So it ends up looking very, very similar to using an enum, except fire it. So this allows us already that did all the reading from the player's inputs and then applied them directly to changing the velocity of the game object and charging the cannon effects and then spawning projectiles and so on. And so the first thing I did was just to separate that out. So we have, again, this delegate pattern with a tank brain can be initialized and then has this think step. So the idea is that every frame, each tank will think, and kind of the brain will then like set up whatever it needs to set up on the tank. So we have a player control tank as our first brain. So this is just allowing us to continue playing it as an interactive game. So for think, we just get the components, we do the steering, the movement based on the player's input, and then based on whether they're pressing the fire button or not, we either begin charging a shot or we finish charging a shot and fire it. So this allows us already. So we have two brains in here, one for human 1, and we just configure player 1, one for human 2, configure player 2, and that just configures which set of inputs it's going to try and read from. So we could obviously create another 6 of these things to have 8 players ready and set up. So nothing should really be different at this point. It should still pretty much So all I've done at this point is just separate the actual decision making about what the input should be from the execution of the result. And of course there is the one missing component to that as well, which is not in here. It's in tank thinker. And this is the thing that actually like calls think on the brain. So this is the thing that's doing the delegating. So when you look at what's here, you can see at the top we've got this public tank brain, so that's where we're plugging the brain. And then I decided to add as well a little bit of stuff for just storing and recalling key values. So I have this remember, where I can give it a string and some value, and then another version of it where I just give it a string and get back the value. So it's a little kind of blackboard. I can just like store arbitrary data in there, arbitrary kind of instance-specific stuff that the brain wants to kind of remember about, which enemy it's going after right now, or what it decided to do last frame, so it does the same thing next frame, stuff like that. So you see, in update, we just do brain.think this, and that's what it really does. So to move forward a little bit more. Okay, so I've added a couple of very simple AIs. So we have this random walking tank, which will sit idle for a little while, and then move randomly for a little while, and then fire a random distance, and then repeat. And then we have as well a simple sniper brain, which will pick a target pivot towards it, and then fire, and then wait a little bit, and then fire again. We'll keep firing until it's killed that target, and then we'll try something else. So it's not very interesting to drive around, but it will just keep shooting and just, spawn camping or whatever. And so to go with this, then I've created actual instances of these. So the random walking tank, I created an idiot brain, and I created a sniper. And I could, make the sniper more difficult by decreasing the time between shots or something like that. And if we look at the setup for tanks, so here is where I kind of initialize my two tanks. I'm using human 1 and human 2. So let's say instead I want to use the idiot brain for the opponent. Finally, I have something moving to shoot at. That's just going to. No, stay still. Ah. There we go, right. It shouldn't take me long to kill an idiot, but never mind. So pluggable AIs. So you can imagine writing any number of other sort of strategies in there, creating instances from them, configuring them in different ways, and then just plugging it in, and off it goes. I could set up like idiot versus sniper as a map that would be here for 20 minutes just waiting for them to eventually put themselves up, so we'll skip that. So let's move on to the last little bit. So I decided at this point that it's nice having this one level that every game needs, menu screen and game over screen and all of these things, where we can begin to actually configure what kind of enemies we want to play against, how many different players that should be, and stuff like that. So let's have a couple more scenes. So start with the main menu scene. I apologize for the terrible frame around. And yeah, so why is that attacking? Oh, it's going to be the font is wrong. Okay, next. So I'll have human 1 and human 2 versus a team of snipers. Yes, why not? And let's just play one round. Right. So I'm blue 1. Oh, well. I'll try and kill one of them at least, please. Oh, for heaven's sake. Shocking there again. Okay, I'm trying to get idiot AIs instead. It'll go faster. And we'll just turn it off actually. I just want to demonstrate. Did you notice, by the way, how I opened up the scene and it had the same settings from last time I played that? Just throwing that out there. Okay, so I'll go and kill red. There we go. And take out green quickly. Okay. So a simple game over screen as well. So let's keep track of how many wins I had. Yes, that's very nice. Okay. So how do I deal with the saving the names and colors and brain settings, and how do I deal with the game state? So let's start that again quickly. I've got a couple of script logics set behind it all. I can show them here. So game settings, I can see Richard.Charles therefore 5, 6. Set the appropriate brain types. And number of rounds. And I've also got my game state, so I can see 3 players are in place. They have no active tank instance right now, and they've got no wins, and we're around 0.
Well, I think that's going to be useful. The other one was this talk. It's a problem with leaving like a week behind between doing.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about modularizing data.
Changes.
That's all well and good, but there's still things that
like 48
you still need
is what we're looking at. This enum stuff.
Designers. So if you have enums, you're going to have to change these things in code. So if we have elements, your fire, ice, and wind elements, I can bet you somebody's going to ask for a new element at some time. So using an enum for that is something that you're going to have a feature add. They work out with things that are relatively fixed by some law. So cardinal directions, north, south, east, west, that could be an enum, unless your game, of course, wants to go into a more gradient space. We use enums for comparison operators, less than, equals, not equals, greater than equals. So that's a place where there's not a lot of new comparison operators being invented every day, but that's a space where enums make sense, where you have a relatively fixed list. Using enums and having them all be code-driven, they're difficult to reorder or to add or remove things. If these are serialized, the enums are going to be saved out based on their index. So if you delete one, you're going to break every single thing that uses that. I've seen games deal with this by renaming something to unused, and then that way they maintain the indices of everything that comes after it. And then you've got this massive list of enums that have 3 things that are valid because you don't know where they're actually being used. And then finally, they can't hold additional data, which is kind of obvious. You end up building sort of a lookup table in a lot of cases. And even if your initial definition here is we don't need it to hold additional data, somebody will. Somebody will put some data in there. And when you use your initial limitations or your initial expectations to define your implementation, I think that you'll realize that, yeah, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It can't do that, therefore it never will. So we can solve this, of course, with scriptable objects. Demo. So here we'll look at elements, and I'm going to leave look away, sample data. So here we have a handful of my favorite types of elements, rock, paper, and scissor. We all know how these work. I didn't write a fancy mover, so I'm going to drag things around in the inspector to demonstrate what happens here. These cubes each have an elemental component, which just references one of our elements. This is a scriptable object that extends, that is attack element. So here, all of this list is what are the things that I beat. Paper beats rock beats scissors, scissors beat paper.
So he's selecting individually there. Again, that's not really going to show us what we want to look at. Let's just give it a go, I think, instead. So let's still keep these separate instead of what we were trying to do. And what we want to have a look at is we want to read this value. So if on initialize, let's firstly just log out get component of type character selector. Hopefully. Let's have some music back again. And what we want to do is get the value and the suit. So where our character stats is, which I don't need Figma open, let's get rid of that. Where our character stats is on the same object as the character selector. So what we're going to need to do is make that a public variable. Can I do just public like this? No, it's not going to let me do. How about, not that, right. Can I just say public serialized field? No, didn't think so. So what can we access on here? Not much. Unless I'm doing that wrong, which I might be doing that wrong. No, that is similar. Right, what I want to do is Unity drop down. So let's look at some of these. Okay, so I'm assuming that's TextMesh Pro, yeah. But I don't want them to drop down in game. I just want it in the inspector. No, I think this is the wrong bit. It's almost like it can hear me. I know we've got one there with the enum, but I want to do it without an enum. So here is our drop-down list that is populated by this enum. But I just want it to populate based on something that's not an enum. think we're going to find lots of examples of using enums for it. Potentially an asset for it. Yeah, enums again. Okay, can I add to enum in script? Oh, allowed.
Hi everyone, in this video I will show you how to display any of your lists of strings as a pop-up variable inside Unity Inspector with the help of attribute and custom property drawer, and we will be able to change this list on the fly and the pop-up menu will be automatically updated. At the end I will show you how to create a pop-up variable from all the scenes inside build settings, which can be very handy when we want to. Let's create a new script. Let's call it pop-up test. Let's open it, clean the file, let's create public float number, and I want to show you some example with the Unity attributes. So let's create range attribute with a min value of 0 and max value of 1. Now let's save it, and let's check it inside editor, and you can see the float value inside inspector changed to slider between 0 and 1. Now let's delete it. Now let's create public list of a type string with the name myList. Then let's create another public variable of a type string and the name popup. And my idea is to create some attribute, for example with the name list to popup, where can I provide the list, and our popup variable inside inspector will show this list as a popup menu. And to define our custom attribute, we need to create a new public class with the name list to popup attribute, which will inherit the property attribute class. Then let's create constructor with the name list to popup attribute, and let's try to put list of string as a parameter. This is not working. Now there is no way how to provide actual list as a parameter to our attribute because it needs actual values of these types or created arrays directly inside the parameter. Something like this, which will not help us. So we need to find another way how to do it, and I was thinking maybe we can put the whole class type as a parameter, and if this class will have some static variables, we can access them somehow with a name. So let's add static modifier in front of our list variable, and inside our parameter constructor, let's write type, which will be the class type, but first we need to add system namespace, and the name will be underscore my type, and to pass the class, let's write type of, and let's put popup test as a parameter. Now we see our attribute is working, and let's put also the name of our value, which is my list, and also let's add string underscore property name to our constructor. Now let's connect this value, so let's create local variables public type, my type with that underscore, and also public string property name, and let's connect them together inside the constructor. So this is ready. Now the second part of our custom attribute is the custom drawer, which will change the representation of the value which we see inside inspector. So let's create public class list to popup drawer, which is inheriting property drawer class. Let's also add Unity editor namespace, and also we need to add attribute with the name custom property drawer, so the drawer will know which attribute is using. So let's put type of and list to popup attribute in it. Then we need to create public override void on GUI method. Let's delete the base method, and first we want to access to our list to popup attribute. So let's create it with the name atb, which will equals to attribute as a list to popup attribute. Now we need to create a list of string variable with the name string list, which will equal to null. Now we need to ask if our attribute atb.myType, which is basically our popup test class, have somewhere a variable with the name myList, and we will do it by method getField, and let's put atb.property name as a parameter, and we are asking if the result is not null, and if this variable exists, let's fill our string list with the same getField method. but we want the actual value from it. So let's write get value, and let's put atb.myType as a parameter. And because the result is object, we need to cast it as a list of a string. And now we can ask if string list doesn't equal to null, and also our string list.count doesn't equal to 0. That means our list is not empty. And if not, let's display our popup with the editor GUI.popup method, and let's put position as a first parameter, property.name as a second. Then we need to pass selected index variable, and last parameter will be our string list, but let's change it to array with the toArray method. Now we don't have a selected index variable, so let's create it above our onGUI method with the default value of 0, and let's finish our editor GUI.
Okay, I think this is a lot more generalized than what we're looking for.
Where we are using our custom attribute.
So this will work for like
our currently selected value from our drop-down list. So
like we can simplify this by specifying exactly what we're looking for.
Now let's create else branch where we didn't find any list or the list is empty, where we just want to show basic string value with
Hopefully.
modifications. So let's write editor UI.property field, and let's put position, property, and a label as parameters. Now to test it, let's go back to our popup test class, and inside let's create some random list. So let's create public void create number list method, where we will assign to our list new list with some random numbers. And also to be able to call this method from inspector, let's add context menu attribute with the name create number list. Let's save it. First we can see the popup is showing empty string, but now from component menu, let's run our method, and we can see the popup menu change to our drop-down list. But there is a slight problem. When we unselect our game object and select it again, the value is not stored. So let's fix it. Let's select our selected index, and let's move it down inside our if condition. And what we want, we will check our string list with the index of method if it already contains our property.string value, and the result can be -1 if we didn't find any member, or the index of the member. Now the -1 can be a problem because we are using our selected index in our string list, so we can clamp it with the lowest value of 0 with the matf.max, and let's put the 0 as a second parameter. Now let's save it. Let's try it. Let's create a number list. Let's change the value, and let's unselect our game object, and when we select it again, we can see the value is stored. Now let's make some cleaning. Let's move our property drawer to a separate script. Let's create a folder with the name custom drawers, and let's create a new C# script, and let's call it list to popup drawer. Now inside our popup test script, let's cut our property drawer and property attribute, and let's paste them to our new file. With the errors, let's add Unity editor namespace and also system namespace. Now there might be a slight problem because we are using the Unity editor namespace and we can't build any project with it. We need to use platform define directive to fix it. So on top of our property drawer definition, let's write hashtag if Unity editor, and at the end, let's finish it with hashtag and if. Now this is fixed, and this part of code is available only inside Unity editor. Let's go back to our popup test class. Let's clean it a little bit. Now let's duplicate our create number list method, and let's change the name to be create alphabet list. And also let's change the list. So now we have completely different lists, and now we can test it. First, let's create a number list. We can see this is working. Then let's create alphabet list, and this is working as well. Now let's make one more test. Let's create a number list again, and let's change the value to be 3, and let's save the file, and let's close the Unity. Let's reopen it again, and we can see our popup is not there, but at least we can see the value. The problem is we need to recreate the list again. The list was not stored because the Unity doesn't save, or in other words, it doesn't serialize the static variables, and we are using static list. So to fix it, let's open our popup test, let's select our static list, and let's rename it to temp list, because now we will be using it just for displaying the value of our attribute, and also let's change it inside our attribute. And for actual storing the data, let's create a new public list of string with the name popup list, and this one will not be static, so Unity will store its values. And inside our methods, let's change the temp list with our popup list, so the actual list will be stored there. Now let's duplicate the last method, and let's rename it to update list. And the method will be super simple. It will just assign to our static temp list our popup list. Now let's test it. First, we can see our popup list is visible because it is a public variable. Now let's run our update list method, and we can see our popup will show our list, and it will automatically jump into previously stored variable 3. Now let's open our script again, and first let's fix our public popup list, and let's add attribute with the name hide inspector. And now we can see the list is not visible, and after we run our update list method, we can see only the popup. And now when we save the scene and we will reopen it again, we can just run our update list method, and the list will be filled again. But we have another problem. When we create a second component of our popup test class, and when we create alphabet list on that one, and when we update it, we can see our both popups are changed because they are using the same static variable, even if their lists are different. And now we need to find some solution which will fix these two problems: the automatic updating of popups when we reopen the scene, and the displaying two different components.
I think we want part of this.
So let's open our popup test script, and here we can use iSerialization callback receiver. So let's implement.
I'm gonna have to rewatch this bit, I think.
Let's copy and paste our previous method, which will assign our popup list to our temp list automatically when we load the scene, or every time we change the value, or even.
Yeah, this is way further.
Now we fix both problems, so let's test it. And now we can see our both components are.
This covers a lot more than what we need it for.
Rapidly assigning first component list to the static list, then it will show it, and then assigning the second component list to the static list, and it will do over and over again until we switch the inspector. Now let's create something useful with it. Let's open our script, let's clean our two methods, and let's create a new method which will load all our scenes inside our build settings, and it will put them to our popup automatically. So let's create a public method with a return type list of string with the name get all scenes in build. And first let's define a list of string with the name all scenes equals to new list of string. Then let's create.
Right, so there's a few bits here. I mean, we might just need the editor GUI.popup. Editor GUI. Makes a generic pop-up selection field. Takes currently selected index as a parameter and returns the index selected by the user. sure that someone's got a... Let's just have a quick look in here. Editor... Almost. Close enough.
I use custom inspectors everywhere in my game. They can be used to display data in whatever way you'd like. First add using Unity Editor to the top of your monobehavior script file, and wrap it in #ifUnityEditor and #endif. Then somewhere in this file, make a class with the same name as your monobehavior, but with the word editor added to the name, and make it inherit from editor. Wrap this class definition in #ifUnityEditor and #endif too. Above the class, write in...
What does it say? Call it whatever you want. It's in the same file instead of a folder.
And #endif too. Above the class, write in square brackets a call to custom editor type of the monobehavior to customize. In the class, write public override void on inspector GUI, and then brackets to make it a function. In this function, write var component equals target casted to your monobehavior type, then return if it's null. Now you can make buttons by writing if GUI layout.button and then passing the text to display on the button. When the button is clicked, it will do whatever's inside the if statement. For example, change the age value of this thing to a component. You'll probably notice eventually that undo doesn't work after pressing this button. You can fix that by writing undo.recordObject, passing the component as the first argument, followed by a description to go into the undo menu. Do this before you change the object.
No, I don't want to do this. Not entirely sure what I want to do. I mean, we said we want to try and keep these simple, so maybe it's an idea just to stick with the enums. It'd be nice to know this, but it's not actually that necessary. So can I select from the enum randomly? Yes, quite easily, can't I? We just need like a an await method or a start method. Go with the start method. So we want random.range. So for the value, we've only got king and queen at the moment, so let's just stick with 1 and 2. I'm sure we've got a rounding option. Round to int. Returns f rounded to the nearest int. Yep. I think we can do something like this. Where's our movement script? That should give us an idea. So we're setting our states. Oh, that's not great. Got two versions of the same thing there. But this is the old script anyway, so that doesn't matter. Yeah, so that should work, right? We can just say value equals. Why can we not say that? Because we're not selecting via the value of... Okay. Well, all we need to do really actually is just do like is this less than 1.5? You don't need to round it in. This is going to be messy code, but it doesn't really matter too much. We just want to see if it works. Value equals king else so I wonder if that will show. So if we let the tree build and see what happens when we just run it. We haven't saved the other script, so it shouldn't affect that. So at the moment it's king. Actually, we should set it to like ace or something. Something that's not going to be assigned, and then we can see if it changes. But we'll do that again in a second. Yeah, there's going to be a few bugs at the moment. So if that's Jack, does this get updated to king or queen? Yes, okay. So sinking twice here. Let's just hope that we get a queen at some point. Should be 50-50. Or maybe not exactly 50-50. So get a random number between 1 and like 1.99. Let's just double check if we drop this down a little bit. And it's not liking this, but that's fine. We don't care about those errors at the moment. Just queen. Go on. Let's do plates, random. Just double check this is working as expected. Probably just being really unlucky with the, or really consistent with the number. Turn off those so we can actually see when the log occurs. An exact value of 1 doesn't look correct to me. Right, okay. So why is that not doing... Oh. Right, random.range is not the same as what we've been using here. Where's our other randomizer? Right, Unity Engine random.range gives us a float random number. This random.range is just giving an int only, which includes the bottom number but excludes the top number of the range. So we're randomizing between a range of 1 and 1. That's why that's not working. So we do that, and we don't actually care. It's not going to be a float here. So this can just be if it equals 1. Let's double check this works first, and then we can mess around with it a little bit. I'm glad we looked that out, because we could be like looking at that for a while. Right, so we should get a random number 1 or 2. I might have to do it a couple of times just to make sure that 2 does exist in this random range. Pretty sure it should be okay now. We got 1. Come on, give us 2. Yeah, there we go. And it selects queen. Good. Right. Now, I wonder if I can do something like this. Value equals a value random number. So we're taking the random number from the range and passing it in. We're like coercing the type into the enum. Maybe. this is kind of what we want to do. I know it's not good code, but and really, if this changes to Jack or Queen, no, sorry, King or Queen, we know that that's correct. It's working correctly. Oh, but the enum doesn't have a name, does it? Okay, we got a queen. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure this is actually gonna... I don't think I can read the value of this. Sorry. The name of the enum. Can I? Okay, let's get rid of all of these. We don't really care about these anymore. Read name of enum. Unity. Right. Yes, convert enum names to array. Enum not get name. That's maybe. System enum.getNames might be what we're looking at. Now, I'm not entirely sure. We're probably just barking up the wrong tree a little bit here, but let's just see if this works. Value, and then a random number. And it doesn't like this because we need the context. But we want to wrap this in a log. And what do I need? I need a using class, probably. Using system. No. We want this to be the system.random. Absolute capital S. Nope. Maybe we don't want that. We want Unity engine.random. Yeah, okay. Out of interest, what have we got different here? Unity engine.random.range. Why is this a float? Yeah, this is an int. Does it know based on... Wow, okay, so it knows based on what inputs I've given it. Right, so hopefully we get a printout of king or queen with the corresponding number. Right, let's randomize it. Why did it not log out at all? Did we not save? We did save. So we got this. This should be an int to start with anyway. Potentially that's what happened. It must have gone into one of the errors output rather than the log in the debug. What we'll try and do is pause this almost as soon as it runs and see. Lovely. Okay. And then we might get a queen. No, another king. Go on, give us the queen. Nope. So what we're going to do next though is basically in our start function we want to randomize the suit and the value, and then on our character select, our character stats, we want to read both the suit and the value and apply the modifiers based on the ones that are selected. There you go, queen. Nice. Okay. I think let's take a quick pause. Just going to stretch, get some water, bathroom break, etc. And then we'll be back and give that next bit a try. So, we'll jump back over to the back screen. And where's our timer? Let's just do 5 minutes, should be fine. All right, back in a sec. So let's swap back over. I think what I might do a little focus mode and maybe a little change up of music as well. Let's swap over to the stream beats. Let's do some chiptune. We're gonna put 20 minutes on the timer. And the goal at the end of this is to have our character selector randomly selecting the character scriptable objects for the suit and the card and applying those. So that's the goal. So 20 minutes is, oh no, on here 1200. Here we go. Right, so we just want to repeat this, but we can't access this value, can we? So let's say private character selector. No, we can't access these, can we? But what we could do we don't really even need the serialized field, do we? Or we had public value, card value. Because this is private. Right, where's our enum here? No, this is private as well. What was it saying? Selector dot value is less acceptable than field. Oh yeah, it is because this is private, right? That was the issue before, wasn't it? We did that. And save that. Then we can now look at a dot value here. Yes, we can. Okay. So, rather than... we set this as a string. Oh, almost. And let's call this selected suit. And we say, oh wait, selected suit equals enum, which means we need using system. Type of value, which we don't have access to. Way easier than this, actually. It's just going to be something like this. And we change it here to like have a. Actually, if we just do public string card value, and we just say card value equals this. And then those enums can go back to private. Or nothing at all? Why have we got nothing here? Now let's see if this is done in the correct order as well. So can we get a selected suit from here that matches the randomized version, or will it error because it's still null when it's trying to access? Right, what's gonna log out? And I think regardless of what logs out, we don't want a race condition anyway, so we might have to hardcode the order. Yeah, nothing. Oh, wait. Why is it continue running this then? We run that. That should run on start. This shouldn't be multi-run. might be a rubbish way of doing this. Yeah, let's override this. Let's ignore this whole character selector script. Right. This can all occur within our character stats. And then rather than the enum, we can use suit modifiers, and we list through the names, right? Let's have a look. Look at suit modifiers dot length. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of these. And let's get rid of this entirely. Make sure we do it on the prepub as well. Cool. Okay, so we should get a length of 4, right? Yep, cool. Why does it keep running it though? That's slightly concerning. Okay, so we want a random number between 0 and the length, which is excluded, so this will give us a value of 0, 1, 2, or 3, which is exactly what we want. And then we want suit modifier, random number, dot name, dot card name, dot suit name, card name, character name. That's it. I knew it was there somewhere. Right, now give me a random suit. Go. Yeah, again, there's still this issue why it's being called so many times. I think because we're returning incorrect. It didn't seem to be calling multiple times before. So what we want to do is say modified stats, set move speed for each modifier in stat modifiers, and we do still have stat modifiers. So stat modifiers dot add, can we add into add item to array list. Should be using a list, okay. I think you just declare it as list something. So that's the array. Where's the list? Oh, we're already using that. Okay. So what we want to say is this is a list. Of type scriptable object. And then can we do suit modifiers dot add suit modifiers random number. Okay. And then we do this for the card value modifiers. Don't need that. Don't need these. Modified stats. Set stats. Return modified stats. Right, fingers crossed. See what happens with this. And then we've got to figure out why it keeps on being called. Right, and then okay, so reference not set to an instance of an object. Oh yeah, of course, it's been called loads of times because we're doing We've got a to-do somewhere, haven't we? This stat updater. This is why we're initializing it all the time. So let's. Ooh. Let's instead. What is it? Character stats to initialize. Maybe let's make this a public void update. Modified stats on move speed equals set move speed. Okay, let's not do that just yet. I think we want an update function rather than calling initialize again, but what we'll do, we don't care about that. That's why it's being called all the time now. But why is it erroring now? Null reference exception. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. At initialize. Line 65 and line 22. So 65. Is it because stat modifiers hasn't been initialized? So I'll do something like this, new list. Right, yeah, okay. So we do stat modifiers equals new list of character scriptable objects. Right, now hopefully that gets rid of all those issues. Potentially we have a way of randomizing our character. And we can confirm it based on the stats. King of clubs. Right, so our character with King of Clubs, move speed 2, jump power 2, move speed 10, so we should have a jump power of 4 on top of our base power 5, so 20, and our move speed should be 4. No, 10. Oh, they're both the same anyway. Right, so quite speedy. Let's do it so that the king is... Yeah, it looks like this is working. And then if we change the club's value, but if we change the diamonds modifier, it shouldn't do anything. I think we might be there with this. It's almost there. I think I need another quick little break just to let it settle properly in my head. Because I think if we've got this working, then all we need is a way to have it overridden. So we want to randomize it for the enemy, but the player should be able to choose maybe, or have it from a selection. Yeah, so I want it to be based on the player initializer. So this player controller script. It does get the character controller script, right? On awake, runs character controller, which in turn runs the start script here, which in turn runs the initialize on our character stat. So what we could do is with our character stats, run an initialize with inputs. This isn't used, is it? No. Okay, I'm gonna get myself a coffee and just have a little think about this again, because I think it's pretty close to what I wanted it to do. We need some way of selecting the sprite library based on these selections. And then we'll need to have another look at how we're combining the stats. But yeah, let's just take a couple of minutes. Have I got I do have a video back here. Right, back in a sec. Right. So, I think we're quite happy with how this is working. There are two things I want to set up. One is a character select override, which I'm not sure quite how I'm going to do that. But at the moment it doesn't really matter. We can have a random character. Yeah, random character's fine. So actually what we care about more is selecting the correct sprite library, of which there are only 8. So actually we can just add in all of the sprite libraries, that's not difficult. I wonder if we can access the name of the sprite library. So this is just our list here, that's fine. Base stats input, the seat modifiers, the card value modifiers. Where's our scriptable objects? There we go. So let's add a header here. So this is our stat blocks. And after this, we're going to have our header, which is sprite libraries. In here, we want a serialized field of sprite libraries. And can we just call sprite libraries? No. Right. A little bit more research. Unity sprite libraries. Library encode. Or select sprite library encode. this is what we want. Yeah, cool. Right, so we need a reference to the sprite library, which is down on the animator class. The animator game object. So get component in children. Kind of. Sprite library asset. We need that namespace as well, I think. Yeah. So using this, we're not using that anymore. So then set sprite library. So we just do this. Private. So we should only do this basically once. And we also want a reference to our sprite library. So private. We want the sprite library component, right? We want this component. We just get sprite library. Nope. It's right. Oh. Library. Okay. So sprite library is going to equal our get component in children sprite library, right? can we just do this equals sprite library is just let's just do let's do number 3. No, okay. Ah, right. So, when we load up our sprite libraries into this list, so in our prefab, selected character, sprite libraries, no. Let's just do a couple. 2 hearts and King of Diamonds. So we should get a King of Diamonds there, right? So that's now in here. Yep. So when we press play, do we swap out to the King of Diamonds? Is the question. Yes, we do. I think it's just a coincidence that that's what the randomizer picked as well, right? Did it randomize? It did. I think it did actually randomize the King of Diamonds. Right. Okay. So now, can we do this based on the name of the sprite library? Log sprite library number 3 dot what properties do we have here? Name. Let's see what it's called. Hopefully this is called King of Diamonds. Right, that's looking promising. It is called King of Diamonds, exactly like we want it. Right, so now, what we could do here is we have a private string sprite library name And we set that empty to start with. Empty string. And then we say plus equals this. So really what we want to do is we want to do the value first. I think that concatenates, but we'll have another check in a second. So hopefully we get whatever the randomizer picks as the name this time. And should we start? King of spades. Clubs of spades. Not quite right. We've got this incorrect, haven't we? Suit modifier. That should be card value modifier. And then can I access? There must be a way to access lists. Wait, access array by name. Yeah. Unity select from array by name. There's got to be an easy way to do that, right? No. Don't necessarily want to do a leak through them, but it might be the easiest way. I know it's not too bad. I do think I probably need to use a dictionary instead. That would be better, but we're not overcomplicating this one, so let's just go with the easy stuff. they are Sprite library assets. Wait. Oh, because we use the same name Sprite library here. Really, this should be Sprite library assets. Maybe. We're just going to make sure to populate all of the assets into the Sprite libraries here. I think these will clear out because it's been renamed. Right, go on, just work. That kind of looked like it worked to me. We've got our King of Hearts. There's probably something that will break on an edge case somewhere, but so far, so good. Give us something else random, something new. King of Clubs, King of Clubs, we've got a King of Clubs. And Queen of Diamonds, we have the Queen of Diamonds. Nice. Oh, whoa. Queen of Diamonds rapid. Okay, I'm fairly comfortable that this is working as expected. It's passed so far. So we can have a look and tidy up some of the code. Get rid of this. That's fine. That's fine. Don't need to output this. Don't need this. Don't need this. Right, so the other option we want to do is in here we say public select character. And this is going to be a void. And with it, we want to send I think we just want to send the string, right? So selected character. And here we just say sprite library name equals selected character, right? And then here we want to say if sprite library name is not equal to an empty string, then we want to add this. Oh no. We want to add all of this. Don't know why I cut that there. I don't need to cut that. I just needed to indent it. Now the only thing that's not worked there is we haven't added our stat modifiers. So I think rather than selected character here, we'll do selected suit. Oh no. And string selected card value. So then we want selected card value plus of plus selected suit. So you can concatenate those strings together. And we need to do stat modifiers. Ooh. Dot add card value modifiers dot random number. Not quite. I think we need another for each loop here. So like this. Instead of these sprite library assets, we're going to go through our scriptable objects. So card value modifier. In card value modifiers, if this equals selected card value, then we want to do add card value modifier. And then we can break out of that, that's fine. And then we repeat that for the suit. So if we call select character, actually no. I think what we want is all of this to be in here, including all of this. Wait, all of it? No, where were we? Here. This is really messy code. That modifies new list, so this clears the list out. We set the sprite library name, that's done. We do this, that's good. We need this component again. We need this, we need this, we need this. No, we're doing this wrong again. Let's not do this. We'll go backwards and forwards a little bit here. Right, what we want to do instead So what we've done here is we've added the two values to this list. Let's negate it first. So empty stat modifiers, it's a new list. We add the card value and the suit modifier. And then I think what we want to do is call initialize. Because what that will do is then find the sprite library again. But we'll set our modified stats. And just create a new. We only really want to do this once. I think what we've got here is we've got these functions need to be broken up into smaller pieces again. Let's do a quick bathroom break, and then I'm going to be back and finish this bit off. Alright, we're pretty close here. And, oh, I think we're pretty close to this setup. We just want to cut this out into functions. So this basically is a randomizer. So let's do here private void randomize stats randomize card. And we cut that completely, put it in here. Character stats sits on the object, right? So on awake, this is called. So Unity events. Oh, let's get rid of the vaccine. Unity event trigger order. Execution order. So awake is called on the initialization. Only ever called once. So start is only once per script. We want this to potentially call each time a prefab is made. So we want it in awake. So let's do an awake. I think. So here in the awake, we want our stat modifiers to be set like this. We want our component get rid of that there. Although we do want to empty the list. And let's not call that just yet. Let's do this. Right, so we're saying based on the selected suit and selected value, combine them. Right, and then we're going to move this down. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to call this function from our randomized card. So this is going to be select character. We're going to have two separate ints here. This is random value, card value. Get rid of this, we're going to get rid of this. And actually we're going to get rid of this as well. And then this is going to be random suit. So suit modifiers, random suit, dot character name. And this is random card now, card value. And which order do we want it in for her? Selected suit, and then selected card now. So now we don't have repeated code. all this does is randomize the card. Which calls this, which adds to our stat modifiers the 2 values. Now what we want to do is empty the list as well. Unity empty list. Now I know we could reset it to a new empty list, but I'd rather not do that. Use the game object list to destroy everything with a certain tag. .clear, perfect. Let's just double check that works how we think it does. Clear list. Maybe list.clear. But there's no, he's not set a new list yet. That's probably why that doesn't work. Yep. Okay, so when we do our select character, we want to do stat modifiers .clear. Let's just double check. Is there any help files on this? Is definition? Word clear. Is definition? No. Goes to implementation? No. Sure, I can find out where this is defined, right? Nah, I don't care. Don't care enough about it just yet. Right, so when we call awake, we get references to these lists. That's fine. Then, if we select a character, which is a public class we can enter in the suit and the value, and that will set the game object. But we need to assign the values. This is just setting the stat modifier. This isn't actually calling this bit of code, which is what we want. And we don't want to recreate this each time. So this, again, could be in our await class. That's fine. That does select character. thinking maybe this shouldn't be called initialize. I think it should be just like retrieve, like get stats or something like that. And if it's not assigned, we randomize it. Otherwise, we just set the stats and return the stats. Let's rename this to get stats. And we save that. This is going to complain, but we're just going to say that, and then it'll be fine. But I can't trigger. So when we're selecting the character here, we want to force this to update. Yeah, we don't care too much there. That's fine. Okay, so on awake here, do we have access to character stats? No. So let's see if we can just do something like character stats. Dot select character. Suit is going to be clubs, and value we'll do the Queen of Clubs. And let's just see if this works how I think it should do. So I think on awake, this should set the stats to use the Queen of Clubs, which means we won't randomize the card because we've already set the sprite library name. And actually, we should swap that around, shouldn't we? Let's do Queen Clubs. Save that. Character stats, we're going to swap these around. And it should be fine with that. Apart from this needs to be swapped around as well. So the value, and then the suit. Right, in this case, when we run it, we would have it as the default as well, wouldn't we? So let's change our default character here to like the king of something, just so that we know that it actually is working. So on our selected character prefab, we go down to our character model, which goes down to the animator. Let's change this to something like King of Diamonds, just so that we're aware of the change. Right, so currently we have the King of Diamonds, but our player controller script should override that to the Queen of Clubs. So let's see what happens when this builds. Queen of Hearts. Why Queen of Hearts? Did we say hearts instead of clubs? No, we said clubs. So we should have found our character stats. And we should have selected Queen of Clubs. Sorry. Yeah, Queen of Clubs. Should have added those to the modifiers. And then when get stats was called, we should... Wait, what errors have we got? We've got some errors. We don't have any errors. Why has that happened? Okay, let's first double check here. Let's log out our sprite name and check that's working correctly. Maybe it's still run through the randomizer somehow. I feel like we're getting pretty close though. Right, what are we seeing here? King of Diamonds. I think hopefully we see Queen of Clubs, and then it runs again and we see whatever gets selected as a random. Yeah, okay. So, it's Queen of Diamonds again. That's a bit unusual. So, let's see this randomizer. Oh no, of course. We only want to do this if it is empty. That's why. We had that clause the wrong way around. So basically this randomized card only happens if we haven't already set the character. But we were checking that it the wrong way around. Right, give us Queen of Clubs. There's our Queen of Clubs. Nice. Okay. Right, well, what we want to see is if in our player controller we don't set this, we now get a random character. Right, who is our new character? Randomizer triggered, we got the King of Hearts. That looks decent. Let's just double check with another different character. King of Diamonds, okay. Just happens to be the one that it started on. Mine's again. Queen of Spades, yeah, okay. That is looking alright. I suppose really what we're working on at the moment is character selector, not character controller. Ooh. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. So we have a way of selecting the character explicitly, and we have a way of randomizing it. So what bit do we want to do next? Is there anything here that's not used? These are all used. This collection's not used. This is fine. This is fine. I'll just tidy it up a little bit. This we don't need anymore. Same with this. Ooh. Technically, this could be the same function that can be called by passing in an array of character scriptable objects, but I don't think that's really that necessary. We only do it twice. It's not like it's loads of times repeated there. And this is different functionality, so that's fine. Okay, let's have a little think. So I think the next thing to do is to continue work on the movement options and the player inputs. So really this player controller doesn't actually do anything itself, right? We can access the character controller to move, but we don't initialize anything here. The character controller runs the base start class, and that's this rigid body, which does the initialization with this getStats method. Right. So that's fine. So maybe one thing to have a look at is our stats modifiers. Can we tweak these while we're running? That's the next question. Which we might need to add this back in. So, King of Spades, not very good here. Oh. No, let's pick a different number. Don't think that's affecting. No, okay. So we need to re-enable this. And where was our update? Is it here? Yeah, this is just checking for applying the updates. So hopefully if this rebuilds, we shouldn't have to restart the game mode because we've only changed something in fixed update, which has been called every frame anyway. So that should be okay. So we look at our king here. Okay, slow. Now, if we were set it to 20, no, okay. Let's restart then. He should be pretty fast. Why is that not right then? We've broken something else somewhere. Right, so when we do character stats, get stats. Going in here. Get stats is called. We're returning modified stats. So because we're adding the values here, right, okay. I don't think we're actually reassigning the characters here. So let's instead of this, we're going to do separate ones. We're going to do our selected card value. We're going to do our selected suit. And this is going to check if these are both empty, or if either of them are empty actually. Randomize the card. Otherwise, we want to select character with our selected card value and our selected suit. Which will reassign the value and reset the sprite name. So instead of this here, we're going to set our values here. So our character name, card value is here. No, put space. And our suit modifier goes here. We do those. We do this. It's empty, randomize it. Otherwise, we do select character. Otherwise, we've already called this. In which case, we need to set the values here. I don't like using this, but it's not too bad here. Right, and then this should now update whenever we change the values. Okay, so we've now got our character is Queen of Hearts somehow. Sure, okay. So Queen modifier, movement speed 10. Doesn't look like it. Although that looks like it's working. The standard move speed 1. Diamonds 10. Queen 10. So we should have 100 movement speed here. 5, 2, and 2. Should be 20, right? Something's not quite working here. Like, I think this is working, right? No, I'm not sure it is. No, it's definitely not. Oh no, that's movement speed. I was thinking that was jump speed for a second. Okay, that is working. So this is like 50. Does that work? Yep, that works. So now our spades modifier. So that's 20. Or if that's 1? No, this isn't being applied. Is our queen modifier being applied? No. Because we didn't uncomment this, did we? Oh, we did uncomment it. So we should be doing get stats. Which should say select character. Set stats. No, not sure with that. I think we're close here though. I think this is a case of step away and come back to it another time. And then it all makes sense. We've definitely made some good progress here. The character is being randomized. I don't think the values are being adjusted properly. Well, let's do this. Let's say our base stats are 5 and 5 for the jump power and move speed. Then we'll do clubs is slow and can't jump, 1 and 1. Diamonds is fast and can't jump. Hearts is slow but can jump. And spades is fast and can jump. And then if it's our king will be slow and can't jump at all. And our queen will be fast and can jump. So we've got some very wide-ranging variety there. So let's just see if this is even being applied at all. I'm wondering if it's just selecting the base stats and not really bothering with the others. So Queen of Hearts, we are expecting lots of jump power, not loads of movement speed. Although we've got 100 movement speed here, so there'll still be fast movement speed. Now this should be a movement speed of 500. Base stats 5 times the hearts modifier 1 times 100, the queen modifier. And the jump should be 5 times 20 times 20. So there should be a massive jump here. But no, this is just using base stats. This is 5 movement speed, this is 5 jump power. So each character should perform exactly the same. We won't see any variety in character. That's same character. Great. Give me something new. Why are we just getting Queen of Hearts now? Because are we overriding it still? No, we're not overriding it. There's a way to do this without... Is it just normal brackets? Yeah, there we go. Let's see what happens here. Gonna have to wrap up pretty soon. Just gonna see if this is calling that randomizer at all or not. I don't think it is now, which is a bit confusing, but we'll see. Okay, now it is. Now that, but yeah, we've got exactly the same output. So even though spades should have a massive movement speed and jumping, we haven't got those values assigned. So why not? We are randomizing, we're doing this. Then we should do select character, selected card value, selected suit. We're definitely doing this because we're getting the right sprite loaded. So why are we not getting these done? Okay, let's do log temp move speed, and then also here and here. So first and then additional, and then final. Why is it not calculating these? Is the question. Right. Right, so let's king clubs. We get first, final, first, final, first, final. So this is occurring because we've got it being updated every frame. That's fine. But it should have got the stat modifiers. Why has that not worked then? Set stats, calls on, set move speed, which calls on stat modifiers. Why are we not adding our values here? Something's happening here somewhere. So, this is move speed. This one is set stats. This one is suit mod. This one is card mod or value mod. Let's see what's happening with these. Right, we're going to get loads of stuff in the console here. We just got to pause it almost immediately. Got it, loads and loads. Okay, so we set Queen of Clubs. We set stats. We do movement speed. We set stats, we do movement speed. But at no point did we go into these, value mod and suit mod. How? Wait, what? Select character. So we're not calling select character at all. Let's stop this repeat going on. Just for the moment. Right, let's restart. For some reason that select character's not being called, right? this shouldn't be being recalled. Why is that? Oh, because I need to restart. I think. I think I'm just making some silly errors now because I've lost focus. Even though I've got focus mode in the corner. Come on. Show me some console logs that make sense. No, this still doesn't make sense. Why is it being called so many times? We removed the call to it. Okay, something weird's happening here. We're not using this. Oh, because we're doing this all the time. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so this looks kind of correct. Apart from the fact that these for eaches are not being run. Or if they are, we're looking for something incorrect somewhere. So, in here now, so select value. We want to see what the card selected value is, and we want to see the card value.modifier name. Why is this not matching up? At least we're narrowing down on where the bug is. Right, we're gonna do not. Oh, we have gone in there. King modifier, of course. Right. What we're gonna do? We're gonna do a final countdown of our focus mode. It's gonna be the last 20 minutes to get to the end of the stream, I reckon. So. We're not looking at the character name, are we? That's what the difference is. this shouldn't be name, this should be character name. God, such a small change. Right, now let's have a look. Yeah, look, we were using character name before up there, up here, but we just used name here rather than the character name. So that's why it was working before, but then stopped working. That looks good, right. So, King of Diamonds, we should have a base movement speed of 5 times 10, 50 times 1. Yep. So that's the 50 we got there. And the jump should be 5 times 1 times 0. So we shouldn't be able to jump. So, okay, too fast movement speed. Well, we'll see. Hopefully it should randomize to something different. Okay, King of Spades. So again, we're 5 and 5, 20 and 10. So strong. So yeah, we should be super fast now, but we shouldn't be able to jump. So I'm pressing jump now. Nothing's happening. But if I just tap, I'm just going to tap so that keep it nice and even here. Now, what happens if we update here on the fly? No, because we're not looking at ways of updating it. So King 1. So now I don't think we need this stuff. Those are all logs, weren't they? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Now we can do this again. Actually, we don't need this. I believe we're already running it with get stats command. Set move speed, yeah. So we could just do this just to show us when we do change movement speed. But hopefully this will allow us to tweak things while we're running. We're going to have to get rid of some of the logs though. We're going to have loads of logs of stuff going through. Like this one, I can go. This can go. This can go. This can go. And that's it for the moment. Let's have a look. Yeah, look, we're going to get loads of these logs. Let's turn those off. So, Queen of Hearts, we have base 505. Hearts is normal move speed, lots of jump. But Queen is both. So, jump should be really high. Yep. just disappeared. Where are we? There we go. Come back down. Ah. That's the problem. Because we were moving too fast, we went straight through the floor. Okay, I think we're basically there. Let's just set these to slightly more standard values though. And actually, I'd love a randomized button. Okay, so base stats, let's do 2 and 2. Right, clubs, does nothing. Diamonds, increases movement speed. Let's just do 5 and 1. Hearts, increases jump power. Let's do 10 and 1. And spades, we want both. So 10, 5, and nothing. Right, and then king. Let's do more jump power, less movement speed. And queen can be more movement speed and less jump power. So diamonds has no jump. This is jump power 2 times by 1 times by 1. So just jump power 2. If we make this 10, jump power 20. That's basically what we had for the original game. Yeah, this is correct. So what can we do that will give us a randomizer? No, we're not going to do that now. I think we've got to a good stopping point there. We've got them all hooked up with the character selector. It will randomize on game start, and yeah, I think we're quite happy with that. Right, so the plan later, we've got a Dead by Daylight stream starting around about 9ish. Waiting for the shrine to reset at midnight, where we'll try and come up with some fun survivor and killer builds based on the shrine perks that are available this week. So if that sounds interesting, please drop by. Thanks everyone who's lurked in the stream. Hope it's been interesting. And we'll be back again. Yeah, so 9 o'clock tonight, which is in about 3 hours time for Dead by Daylight, and 2 o'clock tomorrow for some pixel art, maybe some Unity stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching and have a great week. Bye.